What's up, everybody? It's your boy Tino here, Tino's Time, guys. And today, you obviously can see it's Thursday. We got no wrestling on unless you guys watch Impact or Ring of Honor. So today, guys, we're here. White Sox are off. There are other baseball games going on, and we are going to talk about the other baseball teams because 13 games in, guys, as you guys saw in the description, it's crazy. So, guys, we're here to talk about 13 days into the MLB season. Stuff's getting crazy. Fan bases are ready to jump off of a cliff. A team's 13-0. World Series teams that were in the World Series are under 500 or just getting to 500. So, guys, there's a lot to get to today. So let's not waste any time here on this episode. Make sure you guys leave some questions in here. But let's welcome the other half of the SouthSide boys. It's my man, Deech. Deech, how you doing today? Thanks for coming back, hanging out with Tino today. There's a lot to get to today.
Yep, off day.
Coming
home. So 6 games at home. We'll see where this takes us.
Maybe it's a good thing we had an off day at this point because, as you know, it wasn't. When we ended the show last week, me, you, and J-Man, we were talking, and we thought we were at least going to win 2 out of 3, and we were going to feel a little better. And, my bold prediction last week, and it didn't come true. I said we were going to go 6-0. We were going to sweep the Pirates. We were going to sweep the Twins. Well, that didn't happen, and we won 1 out of both series. We lost 2 out of 3 in both series. And honestly, the way we played on Monday, we maybe should have gotten swept by the Twins because we had 3 errors and the defense did not look great in that game. But I mean, it is what it is. So, yeah. But there was a lot of good things though that came out of it. And J-Man will not be able to join us today. So I figured before we get into anything and we start talking about everything that's went on just in the last seven days, I feel like it's been like 3 weeks since we've talked, man, and it's literally been 7 days. So J-Man was nice enough, and he sent us a little video here. So let's take a look at what the third member of the Southside Boys had to say about this crazy week. And while I do that, I'm going to take us both out, so then it makes it look better, Deech, just so you know.
All right, boys. Obviously, I wasn't able to make it today, so I apologize. Did want to give a little bit of a look into where I'm at with this team right now, though. I didn't watch yesterday. I was at work, and I was driving home during the end of it, and I really I couldn't even bring myself to listen to it because I kind of knew based off of when I saw the Gavin Sheets play in right field that I knew they weren't going to win the game. And my thing on that is it's impossible to be mad at Gavin. I mean, he's obviously going to be hard on himself about it. I know that he blamed himself post game, but I mean, what are you going to do? He's playing out of position. And we were told that no one was going to be playing out of position this year. So you have, guys who were available yesterday to play the spot. I know you want to give Colas a gas, whatever, give him a break. It is what it is. I hate losing series to the Twins. This was particularly frustrating the other night. 2 nights ago was a game that they easily could have won, especially with that rally with the Robert home run, which on our show last week, I said I didn't think that Robert would be a 30 home run guy. I'm walking back on that right now just based on that effortless power I saw on that swing. I mean, he even said he wasn't looking curveball. He said there was no chance he was looking curveball. So he's been like the bright spot for me, honestly. They're hopefully get Moncada and Eloy back this weekend. But, I was seeing a lot of people like saying, well, we'll see what happens after they come home for these 6 games. Well, Baltimore and Philly, I mean, those aren't easy tasks. And I don't even know if we know for sure that this team really likes playing at home. So after that, it's off to, they have go to Tampa and Toronto. And for as long as I can remember, they don't play well in those buildings, especially when Tampa and Toronto have the teams that they have right now. So it's getting to be really scary early on. I feel like I'm watching the same team as last season, and I wish that was more surprising to me. But given the fact that the reason I'm already so it's over, this is bad, is because it's virtually the same team as last season. And we're seeing a lot of the same issues and same shit happening as last season. The same guys are hurt. Same guys are being misplayed in the outfield and missing fly balls. Same way they can't put an entire game together. starting pitching, bullpen, offense not showing up on the same day. So I think that's the most discouraging thing for me, is that it really does just feel like last season. And we'll see what happens as the season progresses. You give Pedro his time, give the new staff their time, give the players time to get acclimated. But again, Pedro said it himself in spring, you can't win the division, you can't win the pennant in April, but you can lose it. And just looking at their upcoming schedule and the fact that they're already multiple games under 500 and chasing, what they need to start stringing these wins together to get out of that. They haven't won a series yet. They haven't won multiple games in a row yet. These are terrible qualities to have if you're trying to at least tread water. We talked all offseason about what the April was going to look like, that this is, the meat of their schedule, playing Houston. They play Houston again in early May. They have Tampa twice. They go to Toronto, Philly, Baltimore. These are good lineups, and the starting pitching has looked better, which is super encouraging to see. Giolito obviously looked good. I was really worried about what would happen to him out there against Minnesota. And he delivered. So, but again, it's just, there's just something that's off for me about this team and this core. It's kind of hard to put it into words. I just don't feel like collectively it's a team, and that they're ball players, and that there's any grit on this team. Not to go like full on like Hawk Harrelson, TW, but I do love Hawk, and I do believe in that. And I just don't. There's just something about this team and the roster makeup that they're basically a 500 team since the All-Star break in 2021. So.
So obviously Justin had a lot to say. He still talked for a little bit there, but we pretty much got what he was saying. And he's got pretty much all good points to the fact, with Sheets and with everything like that, and with going, expecting, and Pedro saying that you can lose it, that you cannot win it, you can lose it, and everything like that. But, again, as we sit here 13 games into the season, I feel like there's just a lot of people that are already saying like it's over. What is it? It's Pedro over, or is that what it is? Is Jose? What's the thing that everybody says?
Oh, Pedro over.
Is that what it is? Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because I keep seeing the memes everywhere, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm saying that right. But it is one of those things where, like I said before we watched the video, the Sox didn't win either series. They haven't won back-to-back games, and they are right now out three and a half games out of the division. Hopefully the Yankees can come in clutch and beat the Twins tonight. We could gain a half a game. I always like days like that. I'm like, if the team could just beat the first place team, even though if we are the first place team, they could like beat the second place team. I call that a win of the day. I feel better. It makes me feel like the Sox kind of won in a way, especially after like an off day. But that's the thing. We literally, if say the Yankees win, we're 3 games out. And if we are 4 games out at worst, again, like we lost 1 out of 2 in the Twins. And again, like, yes, the defense was awful. The Hanser Alberto play where Tim Anderson got hurt, and the play where he threw the ball over, or I don't know where he was trying to throw it, and it bounced off Taylor's head, and the Twins won the walk-off in the bottom of the 10th. But that's another thing. It's like that's the one thing I will say, and I'll let you talk after this. That's the one frustration that I do have still. It's just when these guys have man on second, nobody out, they can't seem to move them over for some reason. It's like they all just want to hit the home run ball. So I still have a little bit to say. So before I continue to rant for 2 hours, I want to hear what you got to say. What do you think about what Justin said about the series, about just everything going on the last 7 days, before we obviously get it more in depth and everything?
I see Justin's points, but I would not say I'm there yet to the point where I have lost faith. In regards to the team, I think the starting pitching, like he said, has looked a ton better. So, if you have starting pitching that can keep you in ball games, that is going to sit and lead to a lot more victories. So, Keenan Middleton has looked great out of the bullpen. If he can keep this up, he's going to sit. He could possibly push someone out, even when the players on the IL do return. So it's one of those guys who I feel like is a journeyman. He went through injury, but he's always had decent stuff. So I was very pleased when they signed him.
I feel like that's like the biggest thing with the White Sox. If they find that guy that has something like Cueto last year, it's something to prove. He went out there and balled out. I think he's got like does he have like a 5-point ERA right now or something like that? I think.
Yeah, he actually went on the IL.
Oops. And that's the thing right there. It's like if we had Cueto in our rotation and we say we don't get Mike Clevinger, bro. Mike Clevinger's been the best pitcher on this team consistently the last two. Like he's been the guy. Him and Cease have been the two that we go, okay, we might win. And it's kind of funny because nobody wanted this guy on the team. But that's a point right there where it's like Cueto had a great year, or thank God we got rid of Jose Ruiz. He's doing the same shit in Diamondbacks. But as Brian McGuffey likes to say, that's Arizona's problem now. So that, and that's the thing. And that's the one thing I will say. I don't see it lasting long. Like we were talking about like designated for assignment, and I'm obviously going way off what we were supposed to go in order. But like I feel like with like obviously Eloy and Moncada hopefully coming back, with like Tim Anderson obviously being out 2 to 4 weeks with a freak accident. It's not like, I feel like everybody's coming for Alberto's head, but Alberto won us that game on Monday or Tuesday. Was that Monday or Tuesday? I think it was Monday. But
I think it was Monday.
Yeah. So I don't even know what day it is. But still, it's one of those things that it's like, I don't know why people are like coming for them. And it's like, if we can get Moncada and Eloy back, it makes a huge difference the way Moncada was playing. But again, like the biggest thing is if they could just stay healthy. And I just think that's the saying where it's like, we see what they can do. And Moncada was tearing it up the first 10 games of the season. And it's like, he went down and it's just like, I just want to see the consistency from these guys. So with the injuries, with Tim Anderson, with Moncada, Eloy coming back, how are you feeling? Obviously, Tim, will be back out a little bit longer, but we get Eloy and Moncada back. Who do you think are the two guys that are being sent down? And that will lead into the next thing we'll talk about, but I want to hear what you got to say first. So,
well, I think first off, I think only one will actually have to be sent down because I don't know that Moncada was ever put on the IL.
Oh, so very true.
I think right now they're just playing one man down on the bench. I don't think the guy that will be DFA'd is not going to be Hans or Alberto. And people can stomp their feet and be all ticked off all they want, but he's a veteran presence that they need desperately in the locker room. And his bat hasn't been great. I mean, he hit that one home run, but Rami has not looked good at the plate. He just looks lost up there. I mean,
you led right into the next subject.
So I either think it's going to be Rami or possibly even Berger that gets sent down, just based off of what we're looking at right now. So I guess we'll see.
And that's the thing where it's just like Romy his like. I talked about the frustrations with people being in runners in scoring position, bro. That was the one thing when Justin said it felt like last year. That was the one moment I felt like it was last year where it was like I knew I'm sitting here and I think we were watching NXT or Raw or whatever the hell it was, and I'm like, this guy's gonna go up and strike out three strikes in a row, he's gone, and he's swinging like what is he swinging at? He's swinging like a sword. Like what the hell are we swinging at, bro?
With him, it's one of those things where the less confidence he has at the plate, the more he's going to just free swing. It just is a habit of his, because when he started to struggle last year, because he had a good spurt throughout the season, and then towards the end, you saw a lot of strikeouts where it was swing and miss. So, in regards to Rami, he has potential. I mean, he hits the ball hard.
He teared it up in spring training.
So I guess
I remember everybody wanted him on the team.
That's the thing. He could do a little stint in AAA and just kind of see if that sits and kind of sparks it or motivates him to get out of the slump that he's in. That's kind of why I see either him or possibly Berger being sent down, just because I don't see Sheets getting sent down. because like Justin pointed out, nothing with that play was his fault. He really shouldn't have been out there.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like that's kind of thing like that. That's what we were told. We were told that these guys weren't going to be pulled out, that they were not going to be playing out of position, and it's like they still are. And it's like people, bro. I'm sure that meme has over like 1 million views at this point. I think at one point I saw it at 74.6K or something like that at like 6 o'clock after the game. I'm like, this is crazy, and it's like you don't think Gavin feels bad enough, and it's like he's not going out there, and it's like again. Yes, you could say that Oscar Kolas should have been out there. And yes, we have an off day today, so why can't he play and everything like that? But we still need Gavin's bat. And where are you going to play him if you wanted to get Yaz in there and everything like that? And I mean, and we'll talk about the good things next we'll talk about one more negative thing. And then I want to talk about some good things because the last 7 days, there's been a lot of good. So it's one of those things that it's like, yes, that is. But again, we lost the game 3-1. So that makes me feel a little better because if we lost 1-0, that would have definitely sucked. But again, don't go out there and I hate when these people go out there and they say these things about like these players. And it's like, what are you going to do? Like, you don't think he feels bad? You don't think he can't sleep at night? Now he can't sleep because he's a meme. And it's like, come on, it sucks. I've kind of just got to the point where I live in the moment. I have, I do what I got to do. And then it is what it is, win or lose, because, you can't let it get to you. And that's what I try to tell the people, because it's just like, sometimes like as much as love as we have for this game and everything, it's like, what are we going to do? Go out there and play? We don't get paid to do this, and that's the thing, like with these injuries, as long as these guys stay healthy. But I think it's just gotten to the point where you have to just realize you just can't rely on them. And maybe this is just what it is. So, the last thing with the DFAs and everything, what about Hamilton or Marisnik? Do you think that we see those two at all? I just wanted to mention them because I feel like those are the two outfielders that, in that some sort of way could take over for Romy, but obviously Eloy's coming back. So do you think we see either one of those two at all?
I could see Marisnik or possibly Victor Reyes.
I forgot about Reyes too. That's right. I forgot about Reyes too.
I don't think they will bring Billy Hamilton up only because his bat is just not.
It's not Billy the hitter mode.
Well, in a lineup where a team needs hits, because let's be honest, while these injuries have been going on, our lineup is extremely top heavy, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when the heavy part of the lineup at the top of the order is not hitting and producing for you, it makes for a very painful game to watch.
Exactly.
Because you're sitting with your three most hitters that are struggling the most at the bottom, which makes for a lot of very quick innings and outs. So.
I know, and the quick innings, man, are just it's ridiculous. Just in general, bro, as like a Sox fan. Guys, keep commenting. I see you guys all. We'll get to a little Q&A after. I'll answer all you guys' questions. Ignore the dogs. I got some construction going on upstairs, so just ignore all that. It is what it is. But I see all you guys in the chat, so thank you guys all coming and hanging out. So I just want to get your opinion on those. I would love to see him, but you're right. The way Billy hits, he's not Billy the hitter no more. He just don't got that magic no more. And as great as he is for speed and everything, maybe we see him in September. But then again, they took away that rule where all those guys came up. So honestly, I don't think we see him yeah. I don't even want to mention it. But anyway, so let's talk about one last negative thing, bro, because I've been a fan for the White Sox for 20. I'm doing this on purpose too. 22 years of my life. I'm older than that. 27 years. I'll say 25 because I don't probably remember 2 years. Whatever. And since I could walk, White Sox have been my blood and soul. I've bled black and white. I've never seen so much negativity, so much just wanting to jump off of a cliff. I'm done. I'm doing this. We're over. It's Pedro over. It's this and that. The negativity of this fan base that we were talking about before, you said they were going to sell the team. They want to get rid of Anderson, Moncada. Everybody wants Elvis's head. People want Gavin's head for yesterday. Everybody wants to trade Lucas and Lynn, and everybody wants to be traded. So who's going to play? White Sox Twitter? It's going to be the Chicago Sox Twitter. team. It's it's just so frustrating. And as I've talked about, I've talked to people in general, I have anxiety as it is. I don't need to listen to people, and I love hanging out and talking to people and everything. And I had to leave the group chat we were in because there was just so much negativity. And maybe I went off, maybe I should not have, but it's I just can't deal with the negativity where it's we're 13 games into the season. And my whole point to this, because there's a point to this, which is not me rambling, because I was listening to a podcast this morning of Ryan McGuffey and Chuck Garfien. They were talking and they were just going over the last 2 weeks of the season. And they were on a podcast. They did the same thing. They were feeling good and everything like that after the Astros series. And, it's one of those things where 16 games in last year, we were 6-2 at one point. And then I think we went 7-4 or 7. It was something like that. And then if you remember, we lost to 8 in a row. And it was a dreadful, just everything went wrong. And that's one of the things where it's right now the Sox are 5-8. But as I showed you, I don't know if I showed you, I don't know if I showed it earlier, but I'm going to show it again. This, guys, I don't think I showed it on the episode. I think I just showed you. But guys, this right now, if the season ended this morning, I should say, because there's games going on right now and games are starting. If the season ended this morning, this would be the playoff picture. We'd have the Rays and the Guardians as a bye, Angels and Yankees, the Twins and Rangers. Rangers just lost also Corey Seager. Twins have not been having Carlos Correa. They don't have Joey Gallo. We didn't see, Byron Buxton got hit and left the game. He seems to be okay, but, injury, everything. Braves are on a bye in the NL. Brewers, Dodgers, and Pirates. Shout out. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love what the Pirates are doing, but I don't know if they can keep it up. The Reds, Diamondbacks, and Padres. Does anybody seeing the Reds and Diamondbacks being in the playoffs? Come on now, everybody. Let's take a chill pill. Let's take yourselves off the cliff and just relax, because we're 13 games in, and all it takes, and right now, again, all it takes is us winning 2 out of 3 of both series and everything like that, and it could turn around like that. That's why they say baseball, you need to have a short-term memory, because it's one of those games where you could be. How high of a high were we on after opening day, bro? They were 162-0. Everybody was in love, even after the Astros series. It seemed to all go downhill after opening day, and then everybody's just ready to jump off of the cliff. So with me rambling for the last few minutes, what do you think about everything I just said? How are you feeling? What's your panic level? Are you chill? Are you what? How do you feel just about this whole White Sox Twitter fan base? Because you were in the group I was in that I had to leave because I couldn't deal with it no more, man.
I just realistically see it as you're stuck with what you have. You can't sit and you can talk about a rebuild or anything all you want, but unless they're going to sit, and I don't see Jerry selling the team, because it all stems from up top. And I'm not saying Jerry Reinsdorf is a terrible owner or anything. I'm just saying the way that he operates, we know, is Rick Hahn will either keep his job regardless of how the season goes, or they will create a position for him, and then you could see someone like Chris Getz becoming the new GM. To me, there is this cyclical kind of tendency that the Sox have to just stay in-house with everything. And with Pedro Grifol coming in, you saw a little bit of a change where you're like, wow, this is something new. We're just picking a candidate based off of credentials only. So I think at this point, you just have to hope that the health stays there, because when Eloy, Moncada, and Anderson are in the lineup, it's not like every game they're only scoring 2 runs. We've had some games where they're putting up a decent amount of runs, and the home runs, I mean, Robert has been murdering baseballs, and Moncada, not that he's hitting home runs, but eventually the home runs are going to come, and everyone can sit and deny that all they want and say it never came last year, but I just don't see it this year. The players put too much preparation in this offseason for it to sit and completely just continue the same way it was last year. You can physically see the difference in these players way they carry themselves, and even just physically, Eloy lost weight, Giolito lost weight. I mean, Giolito looked very good yesterday. And not that I ever root against the guy, but you just, this last year and a half, you've kind of just felt like, what happened? So, I mean, for him to go out there and have a very strong outing yesterday, and even everyone can complain about the Gavin Sheets thing all they want. A, he really shouldn't have been out there. B, it sucks, but it was just a triple and there was no one on base. So for Giolito to step up and be able to get out of that with only giving up one run, I thought was very good, considering he did sit and accidentally a ball slipped and he did drill that Twins player in the face. So speedy recovery for, was it Kyle Farmer, right? Yeah, speedy recovery to him. That was pretty freak accident. So
yeah, that's one of those things where, you know, and that's where I kind of thank goodness you started talking about it, because that's where I want to lead into, because with all the negativity going on and all the, you know, all the crying and whining and jumping ship, and then go root for the Cubs, go root for Darby, go root for this and that. We don't want you here anymore. That's what I always say. If you're willing to go and root for the Cubs because they're doing better, then go root for them. I don't care. Bye. We don't need you. That takes away a seat. That means me and you could go to a game cheaper. Let's go. So, and that's the one thing where you talk about all the positives. Robert has looked like a 5-tool player. His defense with his bat, the man looks phenomenal. And like you talked about, he made that home run on Tuesday where we could have won that game with him hitting the walk-off. And I texted you, I was like, Deej, I was like, let's go. And everybody was going crazy. And that's one of those things where I always say, you never know. You just never know what's going to happen. And you never know who and what could change the game. We've seen it happen where teams could score 7 runs. The Cubs scored 7 or 8 runs earlier this week. And it just, one of those things where Giolito looked good. They gave up 1 run. Lynn gave up 1 run. And yes, the offense wasn't there, but they still lead the league in hits. They still, they have the most hits. But they had, I think it was the first 10 games, I think they at least had 9 or 10 hits every inning, or every game, not every inning. That we'd have 90 hits a game. But I mean, that's the thing. And like you talk about the approach, like I feel like, you know, yes, we've had those moments and everything like that, but the guys that we're talking about in those spots, like if we have Eloy in that spot, I think Eloy can definitely hit a pop fly. Or, you know, if we have Moncada in that spot, and that's where, like, you know, Romy's not supposed to be in that spot. Hanser's not supposed to be in that spot. And I think, like, if those guys are playing, like, every Saturday and Sunday, or, you know, just a couple off days, that will be fine. And it's just one of those things with all the negativities going on, there still are a lot of good that, again, all it takes is this one off day. And, you know, I think a lot of things, before I forget, and I want to mention it too, they've only played 3 home games. So maybe today they get a little rest. They have a day, they relax. It's nice outside. I think I saw Clevinger and Cease were hanging out too, having lunch or something. So it's one of those things that maybe that's what it takes. And, you know, sometimes that's what it is. It's, again, we have 149 games left. Now, if we're doing episode number 10 and we're sitting here at like 30 and 45, 15 games under 500, then that's fine. Me and you could sit here and bitch and cry and complain and what is going to need to change. But we're 3 games under, 3.5. Hopefully Yankees win. It could be 3 and everything like that. And it just, like, if we could, like I said, everybody come back. And again, it all does really stem from the health, because if these guys stay healthy, we could be great. And again, they're not going to stay healthy the whole season. It's just not possible, because as I mentioned, there's all these teams with injuries. There's all these guys. I mean, look, Olin Cruz was having a great season, and now he's out 10 to 12 weeks. Corey Seager's out. Gallo's out. Correa's out. I go on and on and on about the people on the IL. Bryce Harper's still out. We're getting the Phillies at a very good time because Bryce Harper's out. Is JT out, or I thought there was somebody else out for the Phillies.
Hoskins.
Hoskins.
Hoskins. He tore his ACL, so he's out for the year.
That's right. He is out for the year. Holy crap, I forgot. That's right. But Hoskins, bro, Hoskins has been that first baseman, bro. I feel like that came out of nowhere, and he had that one good year, and it's just like he's continued to sneakily kind of sneak by. So we're getting the Phillies at a good time, and yes, you know, we got the Twins at a good time and everything like that. But with everything that happened, you know, we could say, and what if, and obviously we don't want to do a what if all season. But I mean, it really is, because there is a lot of things. And again, like I said earlier, 6-2, everybody was going down. And I'm going to continue to say it all year round until, like I said, until we're like 15 games under. 21-10, bro. 21-10. I will always go back to that because I felt great and then it all went downhill. So we really can't. And Chuck even said it on a podcast. You'll know a lot more by the end of the April because I do want to get into that because I want to, before we do get into that, I want to talk about the other AL Central teams for a second because, there was a stat I found and I actually showed you before because everybody's freaking out about our players. But let's look at Mr. Javier Baez, Mr. Guy shortstop that got all the great $1 million. The guy has 40 at bats and has 100 average. 1 RBI, on base of 263. That's not very good, man. And the Royals and Twins, or the Royals and Tigers, as I said, have 7 wins combined. So I think that they should be like, I'm not saying that. Again, anything can happen, bro. Like we're saying, what if it stays the same? Because who knows? They could turn it around too. And who knows? We're talking about the Royals, Tigers, and White Sox, or, it's like, you don't know. So it's one of those things that everybody is talking about all of this. But with the Tigers and Royals, if they are what they are, it should really be a 3-team race. And yes, there are less games, but I think it will be good too, because you have to remember the Twins and the Guardians, all of them have to play the same teams. And when they play them, when they have to play Philly, maybe Bryce Harper's back, maybe Hoskins is back, maybe the whole, and that's the other thing I want to mention. Mr. Jose Abreu guys out here ain't doing very good on the other side in A-Town. He don't have a home run. I think he's got a few doubles. He's got a bunch of singles as usual. So it's one of those things too. It's like he's doing, he got paid all that money, and I think I looked at the numbers. I think Vaughn's doing better right now. So it's like there is still so much baseball that, we've been talking for a half an hour now that, we could all be saying this, and next week me and you are sitting here like on the biggest high of highs, getting ready for who do we play after Philly? I forget. Is it the Rays? The Rays. So, do you got anything to say about all that?
It is still early. The thing that you pointed out about Detroit and Kansas City, I just think they're not good.
Yeah.
They're not a team where you're like, they can turn it around. The Royals probably will be better than the Tigers, but the Tigers are bad.
Oh yeah.
And their pitching is just hurt. So
I was just trying to give them a little credit. I'll try to be the positive.
My point,
and it's like, you're right though. You're right. They're just not good.
My point being is you need to win those series.
Yeah.
Whatever with the Minnesota series, it sucks. You probably should have won at least 2 or 3 of those games.
Yeah.
But you cannot go into series against Kansas City and Detroit and not really just kind of be like, okay, you're not a good baseball team, so we're just going to beat you by just playing fundamentally, and our talent is significantly better than yours. That's all it comes down to.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like I said, it's just like if you can dominate, and like I said, the biggest thing that I have with the White Sox is it just seems, and it's just all Chicago teams, it seems, because last night the Bulls pulled out. I don't want to talk too much about basketball, but the Bulls pulled out a play-in win versus the Raptors, and DeMar DeRozan's daughter's doing her thing. And it just seems like Chicago teams always play up to their opponent. And if the White Sox could just get out of their head, and I think that's the thing Pedro's going to fix. Whereas when we go in there, like Pedro said, he knew when he was facing the Sox that they were going to whoop their ass. When he go in to face the Royals, and I feel like Pedro's going to want to go 10-3 versus the Royals. And it's one of those things and that's the type of thing. But it's it just, and hopefully that's what we do. But we don't even play them, dude. We don't even play them till the middle of I think May. Because our first series with Cleveland, I think, is after the week after my birthday.
Yeah. So with that, you just need to be as close to 500 as you can, preferably above, at the end of April, because then, you play Houston, I know, in May, but other than that, it's a lot of divisional games where if you win 2 or 3, you win 2 or 3, you win 2 or 3. That's going to start to add up, and I don't think the standings will have to be as much of a concern then.
Exactly. And again, remember the extra playoff team too. So that's it's if they could, like you said, 500, by the end of this month, because I don't have it up with me and I'll get it up in a minute as we talk about it. But if they get through this stretch, I feel like this is probably one of the hardest stretches for a team in like this month, because the Sox go, and while I look this up, let's go into and let's talk about the team that's 13-0, has a run differential of 70. Nobody's losing. They're going 162-0. Just give them the ship. Season's over. Let's enjoy our summer. So the Tampa Bay Rays, 13-0, they're feeling good. They're doing their thing. But like, I don't know. I don't have any of the Rays games. So you do. I think you said you do have the MLB TV. If you got a chance to catch any of them.
Yes, they hit the ball. They hit the ball and they put the ball in the air. And their pitching for the most part has been pretty good. The one thing I will say is I believe it was Jeffrey Springs, I believe is his name. He left his start early today and felt pain in his, I believe it was his throwing hand. So that's something to note. I mean, you could sit and say that, yes, Tampa does generally have good pitching, but I don't know that they have enough pitching to sit and cover both Springs and also Tyler Glasnow, who is also on the IL.
Again, bro,
at a certain point, I mean, if they're undefeated with the first time that they play the Sox, I do not think the Sox will sit and beat them multiple games in the series.
You know it.
I mean, it's just one of those things where you can really only do that for so long. If they went undefeated in April, like I will eat my words and like.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like what we're seeing here is great to see. Like I like to see it, and it's one of those things where it's like it's cool to see, but it's not sustainable. You're not gonna go like let's be real here, and it's gonna happen. The Rays are gonna lose like 6 in a row. They're gonna be like 17 and like 9. And they're going to, because it all evens out. So it's one of those things. It's great to win 13 in a row. But you know damn well if they lose 5 games, Rays fans are going to be jumping off of a cliff as much as other fans are. And it's just like, what are we doing here, guys? You just want a 13-game winning streak. Because, again, like that's what it takes is like, probably will end up coming to an advantage with them and everything like that. But you're absolutely right. The Chicago teams just have a thing. They love ending streaks. They love doing that thing. So if the Rays are still undefeated, because the White Sox, they play the Orioles, they play the Phillies, they play the Rays, and then we go and we play Toronto, and then we come back home and we play the Rays again in a 4-game series. So as you just said, bro, playing the good young team of the Orioles, a depleted team of the Phillies, a team that's 13-0, who knows with Toronto, bro? But have you not realized this? I don't know if people realize this, and I don't know who said it that said that Sox play good in Toronto, and the Sox play good in Tampa Bay for some reason. I remember a few years ago, they won like 2 out of 3 at both towns, and everybody was like, they were on the biggest high of highs. I think it was like 18 or 19 or something like that. I just remember watching upstairs, and they won 2 out of 3. So I don't know. It
wasn't last year.
No, it wasn't last. No, it wasn't last year. I'm just saying they've had experience of playing good. And again, like I think it all comes like the approach, because I think this off day could be very helpful too. So as you said, if we can get through this stretch by May 1st, if any wrestling fans in here, I know you guys all love me for wrestling, as we get ready for Backlash that week, if the Sox are over or at 500, I think we're in a pretty good spot, because we open May with the Twins, and obviously the Twins will get back a couple guys. But again, who knows? Somebody could get hurt by then. It's day by day, bro. Like you say life's day by day, but in reality, baseball is literally day by day, because you really don't know who could get hurt. I mean, like we saw with Olin Cruz. He was having a phenomenal season and just a freak play. Anderson. Like it's just one of those things you really never know. But then we play the Reds. We play the Royals. We play the Astros. That World Series champs, guys. The World Series champs are, what are they? A game under 500, or they are at 500? They're 6-7. They're 6-7. Are they ready to give up? They don't have Altuve. They don't have all those guys. And obviously, I don't think Altuve will be back by then, will he? Because it's May 14th.
He's out for quite a while.
So we kind of get a break there.
I think he had to get it surgically reconstructed. In regards to that, though, the thing I wanted to point out is The White Sox, the injuries suck right now, but realistically, looking at the schedule, May is a lot of divisional games. And like you mentioned, there's Houston. But other than that, there's really not anything where you're like, I mean, Cleveland has lost, I believe, McKenzie and it was either Plesac or Savali. So, I mean,
Savali just went on the IL.
yeah, if you have multiple pitchers out, that's where, as bad, it sucks we have injuries, but I am thankful that it's not to the starting pitching.
Well, and that was the thing last year. Like, I think everybody forgets we didn't have Lynn for a while. So that kind of messed everything up. And I feel like, bro, like if the Sox could just, like if the Sox do what they do with like the rotation and everything, the hitting's going to come and we're going to score 9-10 runs a game. And if they're giving up 1 or 2 runs, all it's going to take is 4 or 5 runs to win a game. And yes, we keep saying what if and what if everybody stays healthy. And yes, that's the key. But it's one of those things we've seen it happen. So if it happens, it's going to be great to see. And then everybody's going to be ready to calm down.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to they've showed they can hit and score runs, and they've
I
showed
think they
that
still
they
lead
can
the league in
pitch.
hitting.
And they've showed they can pitch. It hasn't been in the same games.
No.
But both have been proven. So, I mean, you're just kind of waiting for, and I think maybe this homestand does it. You're kind of waiting for the two to kind of come together and just be parallel where it's like we're hitting and we're pitching well.
And if it stays 80 degrees out, bro, here in Chicago, I don't know if you were outside today, but man, I was feeling good. I was like, all my bones were like, I was just like, I love this weather. So that's another thing. Like, you know, we are going to, and I love your transitions, man. You're just helping me out here. You're just doing the job for me. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the homestand, because we go before the next time they see us, we will be playing the Orioles for 3. And then we'll be playing the Phillies for 3. And then I think, are we off again next Thursday? Right?
Yeah, I think so.
So we're off again next Thursday. So we'll be sitting here on another off day. So with that, and I think you were saying in the beginning or before we recorded too, you're actually going to 2 out of 3 of the games in Baltimore. So, you know, how are you feeling with looking ahead? Got an off day today. We, like I said earlier, Clevinger and Cease were having lunch. You know, maybe Moncada and Eloy are getting ready. Eloy should be back. I saw Eloy and BP hitting home runs. Get his ass back on the field. So, how you feeling? What's your predictions for this homestand and everything like that? And this weekend, I think we're running out Clevinger, Kopech, and Cease.
Yes, and I believe the Orioles have Grayson Rodriguez on Sunday, Kyle Gibson on Saturday, and then I'm not sure who's going tomorrow.
Let's look.
But you got to feel good about the pitching going into the weekend. It's more so, are the bats going to show up? So
exactly, it's Tyler Wells tomorrow.
Yeah. So I mean,
he's 0-1 with a 3.27 ERA.
The thing that the Sox failed to execute on during the Twin Series is punish the pitcher when you have the opportunity.
Yes.
So it was the first game where was it Pablo Lopez that pitched?
That was the second because we won the first.
Oh, okay. So the second game where Pablo Lopez pitched, you had
nobody was gonna, bro. I don't care who you were. I just want to say before I forget, no matter what team you were, nobody was hitting that ball out on Tuesday night.
See, but that's the thing. You had him in the first inning and you gave that up.
We did. And
that's the thing. If you're going to beat teams, when you have their starting pitcher on the hook, you punish them. Like, there really should be no let up. It's like, as long as you can just keep pouring hits and runs on, you just keep doing it. So, I mean, that's the one thing I do want to see from the Sox offense is you cannot get complacent where and it's not, their at-bats have looked better than last year, but the last few games you've seen these little stretches of like multiple innings of just like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and it's either soft contact or striking out, and that is completely unacceptable. I just can't. That was what cost us so much last year. Was you cannot bail the pitcher out. You can't have him going 7 or 8 innings where the bullpen. Because realistically, if you only have the bullpen to cover 2 innings. They're throwing their best 2 guys out there, and you're probably the chance of you winning is a lot less than if you knock the starter out in the 5th or 6th inning. So, get to the Orioles bullpen. I mean, they had to use a bunch of guys today, so
So I saw somebody say, I hope the Orioles and who is it? The Orioles and Athletics or Orioles and Red
yeah, it was
Sox?
the Orioles and Athletics, and then Adley Rushman. Thank you
How
for
many? So
and the
how
C
many innings did
team.
they go to?
I think they just played the normal amount. I think Rutschman hit a walk-off home run. I don't know if it was the 9th or the 10th, but way to boost the fantasy score. Let's go.
Hey, there you go. Hey, that works, man. Hey, I mean, that was the thing. Like, I saw, like, when Oscar hit his first home run, I saw somebody on Twitter went like 246. I'm like, hey, there you go. I mean, sometimes you just got to take it what it is. Like I said, it is day by day. So, what's your prediction for the Orioles series?
Realistic 2 of 3. Being bold, sweep. I just think the pitching matchup does not benefit the Orioles. And okay, this will be my one thing I have to say. It better be Luis Robert, Andrew Benintendi, and Oscar Colas in the outfield all 3 games against the Orioles, or they will punish us for having anyone else out there.
Bro, you know the booing. You know the booing. I saw one of the dudes in the chat getting ready to buy seats in the Miller Lite. I'm like, this guy's about to go out there and just destroy whoever's in right field. Yeah,
well, that's the thing.
Right.
I mean,
how old is Colas? Because isn't he's 21, 22?
No, he's like 24 or 25.
Oh,
I think
okay.
he's
So
24
he's
still.
okay.
So he's a little bit older because he had to go play overseas.
That's right. Okay.
Prior to the
that's still young. So I mean, it's not like he has an excuse on why he can't go out there and play. But I definitely think after
he needed an off day. I mean, he's young. You want to clear his head.
Well, and that's the thing, and that is the one thing that I think people just have to expect. This is what we're gonna get all year. Is we're gonna get the ups and downs. But the home run he hit, he hit a base hit with runners in scoring position. Holy shit! I forgot what game that was, but I was like, oh my God. I'm like, it felt good to have a right fielder. And that's the thing where it's like, we're going to see the ups and the downs where it's like, but once it starts clicking, like we've seen it with all these guys, if he stays healthy, bro, if it clicks, we'll be perfectly fine in right field. And that's the thing where it just like, like I said earlier with like Vaughn, obviously Vaughn had the little bobble and everything like that. But again, I think it's going to take Vaughn a little bit of time to just get used to being at first base every single day. But he is still obviously hitting better than Abreu. He's doing better. I think he has a better on-base percentage. The approach at the plate is better. He goes up there and hits a double. I forgot what because that was the double in the Lopez start, wasn't it? The he hit the double, and then there was men on second and third with nobody out. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, my point just against the Orioles last year, I was at I think all of the Orioles games at home.
And all of them.
It was appalling to watch the White Sox play the outfield. I don't know. There must have been you'd have to go back and look. There was at least like 5 or 6 times where they hit a bloop single, and because we weren't going 100% to the ball or just based off of the outfielders that were out there, they were just rounding first base on bloop hits and just taking second base.
Yeah.
With like zero, like walking into second base standing. There wasn't even like a play.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that is very key in regards to keeping them under wraps. I also feel like Clevenger, regardless of what you think of him as a person, he has pitched relatively solid.
And exactly, if he goes out there and
that's
does
the
his
thing,
job,
it's relative in the sense of I don't really care if he's putting up Cy Young numbers, but is he keeping me in a ball game? That's all you're looking for out of Giolito, Lance Lynn, and Clevenger. Are they keeping me in the ball game?
Big facts. And that's the big point. You keep them in the ball games. Offense will come as it gets warmer out. And like I said, it's going to be really nice out. So you said 2 out of 3. And like I said, I think that is the best case scenario and everything like that. So I am going to stick to 2 out of 3 because I do think that we could and we are capable. And in reality, maybe we should. Because I think if we get through the first 2, I think we got Cease and then we got Rodriguez. Nothing against Rodriguez and anything can happen. But
he's young.
That's the other thing. I think the Sox has
They just brought him up.
So and that's the other thing too. It's not like and that's the thing. Every team's going to do it. So I'm gonna agree with you on that. Just 2 out of 3 best or 2 out of 3 like good Best, obviously, sweep. And we all know the worst case scenario would be a sweep. And I think that's what they did last time they came here, is they just came in here because that was the series. They just played defense. They catch every ball that went in play, every ball that would be in the air, every ball that would be on the ground. Every ball, bro, got. I think that was also the one that Cedric Mullins made like 2 or 3 like over the hand stretch catches
Yeah,
or something.
doubles were turned into outs that entire series.
I just and that I think that was one of the series because Chuck even said it on the podcast too. He said it was like June 23rd to the 27th, and that's where like you just knew that there was just nothing. But I think that they're just going to come into a better approach and everything like that. So if they can take 2 out of 3 this weekend, I think we're going to feel way a lot better. And if we get to 500 feel on Monday, I think we'll all be, and it will be so funny, bro. If we do sweep them, we back. Lopez is back. Is Grandal back? Is that? And I didn't even talk about Grandal, bro. Grandal might be the best player on this team right now. Hitting the ball, RBI machine. He loves the no shift. He said, F this shift. Where was this 10 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, Grandal's been good. He is not going to hit for average the whole season, so it is what it is. But he's looked very good defensively, which I'd like to point out. Both him and Sebi Savala have both looked good defensively, which is very big because I don't know how many games we just gave up runs with pass balls and
I know, and that's the thing. It's like I feel I've gotten a little bit more confident when these guys go out there and they have like a 3-2 count. And I feel like they're going to make a good pitch. And sometimes the framing, we've seen the framing sometime. It's been very good. So you do make a good point there. And I hope the best for Grandal, man, because it's been awful to see him play because we've seen it. We saw him play on the Dodgers and the Brewers and all that stuff before. And it was just one of those things. I don't know. So after we get through the Orioles and after we get through those young Orioles, we got to go and face the NL. Oh my God, the NL champs of last year, the pennant winners. There we go. NL pennant winners. They lost to the Astros, obviously, in the World Series. They're right now. They lost again today. I looked before we went live. They are now 4-8. So their fans, how do you think their fans are feeling, bro? They're ready to jump off of a damn cliff because their team went the World Series and they are now 4 games under or 5 games under. I don't know. I guess they're playing right now. They're 4 games under and they're playing right now and they're losing again. So it's one of those things that, right now, the 2 teams in the World Series are 4-8 and 6-7. So that goes all the way back to the whole podcast thing of everybody having a mental breakdown. So are you going to any of the Phillies games too? You just taking it over?
To be determined.
He said to be. Well, he says we'll see how the weekend goes.
Yeah.
If we do good this weekend, you're allowed to go. If we do bad, you're never allowed to go, and I'm going to yell at you next week.
See, and what's messed up is last year, as bad as it was, I believe my final record for games in attendance was 18-12.
Hey, that's pretty good.
So that was a better win percentage than the Sox had on the season. So there's some confidence here in that maybe me being at the ballpark's a good thing.
I mean, hey, very true. Maybe, maybe it was because we were both there on opening day. Maybe that's why it was so bad. So we'll have to see. Maybe it's me. I won't go to the games if that's what it takes. And while I'm looking up the Phillies, the Twins just scored 9 runs in the top of the first inning against the Yankees. So
who was pitching for the Yankees?
I don't even know, bro. But I wanted to mention that while we were talking about before we talked. Jay Burrito. He pitched 2 outs. He gave up 7 runs, earned runs. So again, yes, and that's the thing, bro. How many times have we seen it? Who knows? The Cubs did it. They scored 8 runs in 1 inning. So it's one of those things that it's like, bro, I could just imagine the roller coaster that people are going through right now. But I just wanted to mention that because that's going on. So we'll see what happens. But the Phillies are now losing 3-1. So after we go and face the Phillies, because the Phillies they face the Reds all weekend. It's a 4-game series, and the Reds are 4-7. I don't even know how the Reds would be in the playoffs then. That makes no sense. But anyway, after this weekend, how are you feeling about facing the Phillies? Because as we talked about earlier, there's no Bryce Harper. There's no who'd you say? Oh my God, I forgot already. Hoskins. There we go. So, and I don't know.
They scare me a little bit more than Baltimore.
Yeah.
Only because they're struggling right now, so you don't want to be the team that gets them hot.
Yes.
by just get like rolling over. So
exactly. So hopefully hopefully they have like a decent series against the Reds, and hopefully the Sox just have a good one, because that's going to be the thing. And if I would assume it would be Lynn, Giolito, and Clevenger. So okay. So yeah,
right?
and I think they said oh my god, what's his name? Wheeler. Zach Wheeler will be pitching one of the games. And he hasn't had a good season, but again, like they said, we saw what Giolito and Lynn did. They had awful starts, and so that's one of those things. That is the one thing I'm kind of worried about, but I try to take it series by series. So as we obviously on the show, we're going to obviously every week predict 2 series. So and you say you're a little scared. So what do you think is the best case scenario? I know what we all want. We always want
5 of 6.
But what do you think? What do you think would be the best case scenarios to end just the whole homestand, I guess?
5 out of 6.
So you want to go 5-1?
Yes.
Okay. And without 5-1,
I think there's going to be one loss in there, but the pitching has looked better. My bold prediction for this upcoming homestand is this will be
to it. Okay.
This will be the first back-to-back home run that we've seen in forever from 2 White Sox players.
Bro, when was the last time? Like was it
I honestly don't know. It feels like multiple years. Not multiple years, but at least like a year.
You know what it was? I think the last time it was. Do you remember when they hit 4 home runs in a row against the Cardinals? It was Eloy, Abreu, Moncada, and Grandal.
That was like 2 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. I think that might have been the last time that I remember. Unless if like Abreu and Eloy did it. I can't remember. That's a stat I'm going to look up, and I'm going to see if I could find it. But who do you think it's going to be?
I'm not taking it that far. I'm just going to say it's going to happen.
I'm not taking it that far. Okay, so that's your bold prediction. So what's your guarantee then?
My guarantee is that in at least 3 of these games in the homestand, we will see both hitting and pitching excel at the same time, which we have yet to see this year, really.
Bro. And as I said earlier, if it's like 60 degrees out, I know next week it's supposed to get a little cold. That's next week's problem. This weekend, if it could stay a little nice out, I think, bro, it feel like a summer day in Chicago, bro, and like that's just all I want. So so it's 5 and 6. So I'm gonna say that we go 4-2 on the homestand. Because I don't want to. After last week, I was trying to be bold, but I'm going to be a little bit more realistic this week. I tried last week. It didn't work. So I'm going to say we go 4-2. We win 2 out of 3. I think we make up for what we should have done against Pittsburgh and San Francisco, because obviously everybody knows that we should have, and Pittsburgh's getting their butt. That's what I'm saying. Pittsburgh got their butts kicked by the Astros 2 out of 3, and now they're coming back to life. So it's like, and that's why, like when I showed that playoff thing, it's like it's going to change by the end of today because all these teams are playing again. So it's one of those things where it's just like, so I'm going to say 4 out of 2. And best case scenario, would be 5 out of 6. I think they're capable of doing it. I think that would be great. 5-1 homestand. You put a staple on that, and you bring all the fans back, because after that and going into, I think we play the Rays after that. Going into the Rays being 5-1 as we sit here next week, I think we got like 16 people in here hanging out, talking, and we're all celebrating, having a cheers, So I'm going to say that we go 4-2, and my guarantee of the week is I guarantee you at least 2 of the pitchers will go into the 7th inning. I don't know if they'll make it through it, but I'm going to say we have 2 pitchers in the next in the homestand until next week that we have them go at least 6 and get into the 7th inning. If they do that, that saves the bullpen, because we have a big stretch right now, and that's going to be a very big thing too, because if these starters can get in there, they give a few days guys off. We get Liam back. Middleton's been good, and obviously they're not keeping they have little leashes on these people, like probably a leash this long where they're like, no. So, and who is the other dude? Who was the guy that came in to clean up the one game where we were getting killed and he pitched like 5 innings and gave up like
Oh,
2-1.
Jesse Schultens.
Yeah. So and that's the thing. So, and that should be interesting too, because I feel like we could see a couple other things. And we get Grosh. I don't know why I always say Crockett. I always thinking of the Fairly Odd Parents, Mr. Crocker, Garrett Crochet. And when we get Liam back, and they're not far behind, and it's crazy to think about that. So, if we get through 4-2, 5-1 next week, feeling good, I think it will be a very much better feeling than we all are obviously feeling right now. So, and my bold prediction will be that we will see, and I'm gonna stick with my man Colas. I'll stick with him for one more week. I'm gonna say we have him hit a grand slam in one of the games. It's warm out. I think the Sox will get the hitting going, and I say he hits a grand slam. And I think that will be a second, especially in the home fans, bro, because then everyone's like, wait, who's Oscar Colas? I've noticed that too. It takes everybody to have like a game for themselves to realize who they are. So that is what I'm going to go with all of that. And what was yours last week? What was your guarantees and your bold predictions? Do you remember?
I think my bold prediction was to go 6-0, which obviously did not happen by any means. So
No.
big L there, but
didn't you say something about Gio? I think you said Gio would turn it around or something like that.
Yeah, either I or Justin. Someone said that Giolito will have a good outing, which I mean he did against the Twins.
All right, so we're gonna say we're both 1-1. I was saying before I want to keep a track this year, so try to remember what you had. I just want to give us something to fight for, kind of like Chuck and Ozzy do the picks to click. We could do the picks to click, but I guess that would be too long. So now that we did all that, and we got through everything. Let's go through the chat real quick, and then I will let you go, Deech, because we're already over an hour, and we're usually done by now. So let's get through the chat real quick. We got Chris in the house. Chris says Rays 13-0. Yes, sir, they are. Jadis says, what's up? He says, and it's Tino's. What, Jadis? I just put the video on. He's like, I did the Simpsons thing, I guess. Isabel said, shush, Jadis. Isabel, thank you. Tell him somebody needs to tell that kid every once in a while. Chris says they will turn around. So I put in the poll. I put a poll up, and I wanted to see what people said. And the poll was, can the White Sox turn it around? We got 12 votes. And 83% of the vote says the White Sox are going to turn it around. So they believe, like we do, that they will turn it around. So whoever is all come and hang out, appreciate you guys. If you guys are from Twitter, the chat, everything like that. And again, I don't want anybody to think I'm a bad guy and everything. I try to stick to the positive vibes only and just try to just can't deal with the negativity, man. So, we got Rocco in the house. What's up, Rocco? Thanks for coming by. Got Mr. Eric in the house. What's up, Eric? Crazy guy. Oh God, Tino is my best friend. Huh? We're going for a walk and wait, we're going for a picnic and a walk. We'll have so much fun forever and ever. Oh my God, crazy guy, bro. What are you trying to do listen? I'm trying to make this like a nice, listen, I don't have to do a live stream tonight. I got a whole night to myself. Listen, I don't know what you're trying to do here, bro. I'm going to play video games. We got Billy. The one thing I do want to say about this is I think this would be the best case for Billy is if he were to come up at some point. Like, what is in September? Is it like 2 or 3 guys or something like that?
I think, yeah, they expand rosters. I'm not sure.
Something like that. I feel like the only way he would really come up, obviously, is a big-time injury, and hopefully none of that happens. But if there is a spot, obviously, I think if we need speed, I think he would be good. But the one thing I think neither one of us mentioned, bro, the stealing the bases, the first to third, oh my God, it's so nice to watch somebody hit a single and Benintendi's on third or Eloy's on third, or it's just because then all it takes is a fly ball, and sometimes you can't hit the fly ball, but that's all it takes. So, I think it would be good to see Billy, and Billy obviously can steal bases, but the way they're doing it right now, they still haven't got caught either. I think they're one of the only teams that hasn't got caught.
Yeah, I mean, Tim Anderson's a huge contributor of that. Yeah, 5 or 6 already. So that was really nice to see him. That's where the only thing is you can sit and argue that you want Benintendi to hit leadoff, but that would be my thing is if Tim Anderson leads off and gets a single and steals second base, it's a hard argument to make that Benintendi deserves to be in the leadoff spot. I get Anderson has showed some pop, but it's a hard. That's a pretty tough one to think of. Like, which would you prefer to lead off? So
exactly. I think Tim, obviously, like what you just said, and I heard somebody saying about having Tim like bat like fourth or fifth. That just wouldn't make sense. Like Stoney always says, Tim gets on and he scores about 80% of the time. And having a man, especially if they stick to Tim, Robert, and then, with like the 3, 4, 5, obviously I feel like they could like switch around if they really wanted to, but I feel like eventually they will figure it out. But Pedro has already said that Tim and Robert are the 1 and 2, and for right now it is what it is. But we saw Tim obviously doing what he was doing, and everybody was like, oh, his strained knee and everything like that. But I think Tim will be back by the beginning of May. And like we said earlier, if we could just get to 500, get Tim back by my birthday weekend, the beginning of May, backlash weekend, guys, I think he'll be good. And I think, as long as we don't have any extended injury lengths, I think we should be okay. And that's, I think, like Corey Seager or tearing ACLs or if we could stay away from that, I think we will be okay. So we'll have to see. Triple H change. Can Triple H take over for the White Sox? I think that'd be good. They can turn it around. Joey Votto is also. I forgot about Joey Votto. Like, the man has been in the league for so long. I feel like he just gets lost in the wind now.
I think this is his last year, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think he said that it is. And yes, this isn't football. This isn't MLB The Show on rookie mode. No team is going to go 162-0, guys. It's not going to happen. The Rays are going to lose. They're going to lose a couple in a row. The Rays fan base is going to be jumping off a cliff, and it's going to be, Score runs first. Well, obviously, you got to score runs, Chris, to win. Obviously, bro. You just got to score more than your opponent. Chris, I don't like this one, bro. I don't like you right now. I'm done with you. Well, Orioles will sweep the White Sox? No. Didn't I just say about the negativity? Chris, get the hell out, bro. Positive vibes only. I need to get the Pauly D meme up and just have it up. Just positive vibes only, guys. Listen, if I wanted to deal with negativity, I'll just go deal with everything else I got to deal with. I don't want to deal with negativity. No, not really. But no, just come on. The negativity, bro, anywhere is just like, you stay positive, you feel a little better every day. So I guess we got Triple H in the house now. Triple H has got a Santa hat on. Okay, then. He says hello. But why are you calling Deech JD? Deech is not JD. And Chris, you're definitely getting banned for this one. He says 0-6. Chris, I don't like you no more, bro. This is not how we're ending the podcast on an 0-6 thing. So I'm going to say the White Sox are going to have a good week. They're going to be better. We're going to go 4-2, 5 out of 6, 5-1. I don't know why I can't say 5. I don't know why I keep saying 4-2, 5 out of 6. 5-1, 4-2, I think will be very good. I think next week we'll be having a little bit better of a positive podcast with just in general the White Sox fan base. Hopefully we'll be talking about a few more W's because obviously we went 2-4 since last week. So that was not very good. So hopefully we turn it around. We go at least 4-2, 5-6. But I think that's everything that we got. So any last remarks and ending settings you got to say about anybody until we come back here next week?
If you see me at the ballpark, say what's up.
He said if you see me at the ballpark. Deech is trying to give himself. He's like, take a picture. I'll sign a baseball.
Yeah, celebrity status.
Get the autograph now. But I've been telling I'm like, get the autograph now, people. You don't know. I mean, Tino going to the big time, guys. So, but guys, that's all we have here for you today. Remember, go and if you see Deech at the game, go see him. Go say hi. Go say what's up. So we'll definitely also, guys, I do want to say, since we are now officially the SouthSide Boys, we got a little banner and everything. With Tino's time almost hitting 1K, and I mentioned it earlier because we got to wait till we hit 1K till I can start putting it out there for you guys. We'll be having, and I'll be making some Tino's time merchandise, but we'll also be having, I'm going to find a way. Let's get some Southside Boys merchandise out there. T-shirts, hats, everything. Make you wear it to the game. Give you some cards, you go to all the games. You said you got what, a 20 20 game season pass this year?
Yeah, the last 2 seasons I went to 30 plus games. So
Hey, there
I'll
you
be
go.
there.
Marketing Deech. There we go. You're the marketing man now. But guys, this week we're not done yet here this week. And before I let Deech go, Deech, you got to sit through this real quick. But tomorrow, guys, come and hang out here tomorrow as we go live for Friday Night SmackDown. We see LA Knight take on Xavier Woods. We see the return of Shinsuke Nakamura, Cody Rhodes, Judgment Day. We got Sami Zayn and the Bloodline, Brock Lesnar and Gunther. It's going to be a good show. So make sure you guys come and hang out tomorrow night for Friday Night SmackDown on Fox. And then Saturday, guys, it's the world premiere episode of Tino's Gaming here on YouTube and Twitch as we begin gaming here on Tino's Time. Make sure you guys go follow Tino's Gaming 2023. If you have not yet, turn that notification button on so you know when we go live. We'll be playing Animal Crossing, WWE, MLB The Show, Call of Duty, etc., the Mario games once we get the Switch going and everything like that. Not the only games we'll be playing. We'll maybe some NBA and stuff. Maybe I'll get Deech on here. We could play a game of the show. We could be the White Sox with 2 different colors. Bro, when I used to see people do that, I'm like, what are we doing here? So, guys, come and hang out. Tino's Gaming Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time as we begin with WWE 2K23. We're going to play some war games, Elimination Chamber, Vince McMahon versus Triple H for the rights to WWE. Maybe Rey Mysterio and Dominic and Bad Bunny and stuff. Come and hang out, guys, as we hang out for 2 or 3 hours and play some video games here on Tino's Time. But Deech, I appreciate you coming here, hanging out. The show lasted a little bit longer than usual, so I appreciate you hanging out longer. We got a lot through. I feel like it was a good therapy session. I feel a little better now, man. I feel like enjoy the rest of the night. Get ready for this weekend. You know, it's still nice out, so, you know. But if you want to tell everybody where to go follow you or where you're going to be at in the
SouthSide
game,
Beach, everything.
Everything, SouthSide Deech. Everybody go follow SouthSide Deech on everything. And like I said, if you see him at the game, say what's up. Where you at? Aren't you usually in the 500 level or something like that?
Upper deck represent.
That's Deech's home. So if anybody's in the 500 level, go say what's up to Deech.
My humble abode.
Take a picture, man. He'll give you a shout out. We give you a shout out on the episode tomorrow. And I'm definitely going to be going to some games, and we're going to go to some games together at some point once it gets a little warmer and after my birthday.
Boys tailgate.
Yeah, bro. The last time I did that is when I was 14 years old. I've never done it since I turned 21. So it's going to be a new experience, but I'm all for it. So, guys, that's all we got here for you for the Southside Boys. Episode number 4. We talked about a lot today. It was a good therapy session. Remember to go follow Tino's Time on all your social medias on SoundCloud and Spotify. Tino's Time Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram. Tino's Time 1996 on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Guys, remember, as I just said, we are now on Twitch at Tino's Gaming 2023. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you have not. Go follow the Southside Boys 23 on Twitter to get all your baseball needs, White Sox, and much more. We are on the road to 1K, everybody. We're about 40 away. Help your boy. Let's get there by your boy Tino's birthday weekend to Backlash. That's the new goal. Help your boy Tino reach it. I appreciate all you guys so much hanging out here with your boy and Deech on this Thursday afternoon. Turn that notification button on so you guys know when we go live tomorrow night for Friday Night SmackDown. Have a great night, guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow night for Friday Night SmackDown.